guess it matters to her. People do crazy shit.
Monogamy, just like safe sex, it's like anything else, cannot be a one-time conversation.
This episode, we're jumping in with monogamy and sexual healing. What is your relationship to the pandemic? Are you positive?
I am, yes. I've known since 2004 when I went for my doctor checkup, and then for me got like the shocking news. Didn't know what was happening, was kind of crazy. Was with my mother also, so it was very dramatic.
Oh.
But yeah.
So in 2004 you were in Holland.
Yes.
So did you see it coming at all? Like what made you go to the doctor?
It was the relationship that I had with a guy. His name, okay, I don't need to say his name.
Fair enough.
I don't need to say his name. I've always been, I'm a very faithful kind of person, and I've always entrusted people, and I'm the type of person, I'd walk through the fire for you kind of thing, I trust you, I'll be there for you, but I expect the same in return. So he was a bit shady, and that gut feeling that all women get, try to ignore and just try to ignore it again, and then, basically the relationship ended, and my mother, being also in the nursing industry and stuff like that, she advised me to do a test, and I did. And much to my surprise, or not really, I don't know. I guess maybe it was like a wake-up call to be like, okay, listen to that little voice inside your head saying don't or no or what you doing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So then I found out 2004.
2004.
HIV positive.
But nobody likes to use condom
all
the time. When you have a couple, straight couple or gay couple, who go for testing, they are both negative, and they want to stay together and be exclusive. Do you think they are going to keep condom by pleasure? No. So it really means that condom is not... is not something that is very gives an addition to the pleasure. So when people can get rid of condom, they do. And the problem is that in a sexual relationship, you don't always realize objectively that you are in a risk situation.
Right.
And that's the problem. You think, no, this is not risky, and actually it is. But
because people assume that they're in a monogamous. You're talking about monogamy, basically. You assume monogamy is happening maybe in your relationship, but people have relationships outside of their relationship all the time and don't say anything. So you could be assuming that you're in a safe situation, but
actually you're not in a safe.
Actually not.
And it's even worse now, because now, as I said before, it's not people who know they are HIV positive that transmit. Because most of people who are HIV positive, they are treated. So if they are treated, they cannot transmit.
So
people who transmit are people who do not know their status, or most of them think they are negative, but they were recently infected, and so they can transmit because they are not treated.
It takes, I guess, really strong will to pull out a condom in the midst of incredible pleasure, just the way it takes a lot of will to stop smoking, just like it takes a lot of will to not eat chocolate chip cookies, depending on your wounds. you know.
Yeah. What's the relationship to monogamy here? Is it
Well, I mean, polygamy is legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big, like, traditional cultural practice.
Mm-hmm.
So people can have many wives, and people have done so over the years. In Black culture, it's quite common. Our president has 5 wives. Okay. So that happens, but I guess it has to happen in this sort of like organized way, in that you marry all your wives. But in terms of monogamy, I mean, it's a tough one. I can't say that people are not monogamous. In most cases, it seems people are not monogamous. You know what I mean? But, you know, there is a great belief that monogamy is the ideal righteous behavior, also in accordance with the big code of conduct, Bill of Rights for all human values, which is the Bible. It's been interesting in this time to see my own friends and younger people actually starting to explore different relationship models, dynamics, polyamory, you know, or like formalizing these things that were happening in in relationships, you know, as a practice, and just like, why don't we open up about it and just say I'm sleeping with other people and have a whole discussion around what that means for us.
Is that more common here?
No, it's not that common. It's really like 1 in 10 people that I know who are starting to speak in that way or starting to practice you know, being in alternative relationships.
I don't date anybody under the age of 38. You know, not that that means anything, but a lot of times younger men are more promiscuous. A lot of single people have, you know, may have 2 sex partners.
Do you know where it is? They have one on LeBret. I thought they had one downtown, but they don't.
They do.
They do?
It's what, 31st and...
30, oh, you know where it is? Mm-hmm. Okay, then we'll go to that one.
Are you nervous?
Not really. You know.
I commend you for going. I know that I have to get mentally prepared.
Yeah, well, it's definitely overdue because I like to go get tested every like 6 months or so.
Oh, okay, that's good.
You just never know, regardless if you're with the same person or not.
Absolutely, because they be creeping.
Yeah.
You know, does he have Facebook?
No.
Good.
No, he does not have Facebook or Instagram. Well, I don't know if I necessarily like that or not. Then I can't check up on him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I don't like my men to be all into, I can't lie, unless you're using it for business purposes, because it just opens the door to too much stuff. One of my homeboys, he's got an Instagram, and all he does is meet girls on Instagram, and they don't even know each other, and they be sending shots of the coochie. I mean, they be doing the most. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, and then we're gonna pass. This park right up here was notorious for heroin addicts. My father used to hang out in this park. Lo and behold.
We have a clinic that the beautiful thing about Harlem Hospital.
Should you still be tested if you're married? You know, isn't that important too? Beyond that, I think the most important thing is to actually have that dialogue with our friends, with our daughters, with our sons, with our mothers. You know, you start to think of all the women my mother's age even who, you know, might be recently divorced or finding new partners. I mean, what's happening to that age group? You know what I mean?
Let my place be operated here to New Orleans. You all have a safe and pleasant day.
There were negative people around me who only saw death. It's like, I need to get away from you all because, see, I know what I've got to do. The first thing I had to do was find out everything I could about HIV. The second thing I had to do was find a place where I would have a voice to let other women know you're in much danger as I am. Because, hey, look at me. You know, being a praying woman didn't protect me from being positive. Being a woman who was careful didn't protect me from being positive. So, nuh-uh. I started telling people a wedding ring, a mortgage, and a marriage license does not protect you from HIV. This pandemic is spreading among heterosexual women because they believe, oftentimes, even though they know their husbands are having sex outside of marriage, their marriage, or outside the relationship, even if they're not married, but they're in long-term relationships, and they believe that they're in a monogamous relationship. You cannot, they don't want to get tested. If I've been with you this long, and all of a sudden I decide I want to start using condoms, first thing I'm going to be accused of is what? Oh, who you dealing with? So now you want to accuse me of being with somebody? Right. It takes you to another level. So you got to learn condom negotiations. No, honey, you're getting older, so just wrap it up and make love last longer.
700 feet, turn left onto TX 121.
Even though I put out on the first night, here we go. Even though I put out on the first night, our foundation was based on honesty. We were both honest about
from the jump.
We've asked heterosexual couples, we've asked gay couples, and like, oh, we've been together for 15 years, oh, we've been together for 30 years. And I'm always, the first question I ask them, so what's your secret?
Right.
And the first thing they say is
communication, and the wife is always right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's
no, happy wife, happy life. When it comes to matters of the heart, people do crazy shit.
If we're going to be together and we're going to be monogamous, if you and I are going to be monogamous in this relationship, that's what we're going to be. But if you find that monogamy don't work for you, because I think you need to talk about it all the time, like don't think if I'm monogamous today, then I'm going to still be able to be monogamous 10 years from now. I may not even be monogamous next year, because I'm really flip. Like I could just like be into that thing today and tomorrow be like, yeah, that's nice over there too. You know, and then I'm at an age now, like I'm 52. So, you know, I'm just not, those same things that used to keep me grounded years ago, those things don't exist in my life anymore. So I feel like I live my life. Sometimes I tend to operate in my head. I kind of like what I want. And most of us do. So how do I be honest about what I want? So that means you have to have those conversations all the time. Monogamy, just like safe sex, just like anything else, cannot be a one-time conversation. It has to be an ongoing conversation. And so when that person, and then the trust has to be there. Trust has to be there, and I have to be able, you have to know that I'm going to trust you, I'm going to love you, no matter who and what you are. Same things if you're with somebody if a woman is sleeping with a man who sleeps with men. That's okay if they've had that conversation. And she's okay with him sleeping with men. But what happens is everybody got to be okay with what's going on in their relationship. That's where the problem happens. See, that's where there can't be free love. That's where it can't, because people will lie and say, I know a young lady right now who's sleeping with a man who sleeps with men. And I said, but clearly, you're seeing something I don't see. He's gay. He's not bisexual. I'm sorry, he's not. Am I okay with it? I don't know. You know, I've been in a relationship with a man who had been to prison, and we did talk about behaviors that took place while he was in prison, and I was okay with that.
That's a whole different.
But would I be okay with him sleeping with a man now? I wouldn't be okay with him sleeping with a man or a woman, not in the confines of this relationship, unless we've talked about it. Right. If we've talked about it, then I'm okay. And I think that's where I keep going back to. You have to talk about it.
How does monogamy play out in your life?
Oh.
He goes, oh.
No. I mean, it's like if you are in a bakery and you have no choice. You have only the same bread every day. I think we are all together with Bruno and me since more than 25 years, going to soon 26. And I think if the contract, even virtual contract, has been to be monogamous, I think we will be alone since 25 years. So I don't say it's easy, because of course what you describe on the people and say, the trust, I want to trust you. Of course I trust people, and I trust Bruno. It's not the faith, but at the beginning, if you meet somebody, you want to be on the movie with kind of fairy things and plenty of flowers, and the life is marvelous, everything is perfect. The prince and the prince marry them and have a lot of babies, but unfortunately life is not that.
Monogamy is one of those issues that I think we all have to deal with at some point. Some of us are more challenged by the idea of it than others. The real point of this episode is to try to figure out, for those of us who are really challenged by the idea of it, what does it mean to use communication as a tool instead of having to live under the shroud of something that you might not really be able to hold yourself up to, which could possibly lead to practicing unsafe sex, which is one of the main reasons why HIV is still a pandemic today. So, I pose this question. Is monogamy right for you?